Is the term cozy game just a marketing tactic for boring games? It might be a hard pill to swallow, but let's face it, cozy games are boring. And I think that's a good thing. Grab your favorite mug, and let's talk about why boring is a good thing for cozy games. When I think about being cozy, I have very specific things that come to mind. I think of things like a good blanket, my cats being curled up next to me, no less than 3 drinks within arm's reach. And when I take that thought to cozy games, there are a few threads that I noticed that, when woven together, make one very special thing, which is what makes cozy games so good. Normally, I focus very heavily on the story within games, but there is one other thing that is just as important to games as their story: the mechanics. And the mechanics are a major way that a game's story is experienced. This is also where I found those threads. What comes to mind when you think of something boring? For me, it's doing things like laundry and cooking and most cleaning. Usually, it's things that I have to do, the ones that never really end and always need to be done, that I consider boring. So why do the core mechanics of most cozy games implement these boring tasks? Wake up, water crops. Wake up, restock shelves. Wake up and spend hours upon hours cleaning. It comes down to the way that cozy games implement these tasks. They happen quickly and in a way that is visually pleasing to watch. The sound design often accompanies it in a really satisfying way, with clicking or crunching or just other satisfying sound effects. A huge draw about these tasks is that cozy games implement systems that can start to automate them or make them happen faster. Plus, cozy games have a way of making these tedious, boring tasks really rewarding to do, be that through a nice before and after, or a really apparent change to the environment. And who doesn't love a good transformation? But romanticizing the monotony of everyday life doesn't make a cozy game, at least not by itself. In our real lives, it's really incredibly easy to be connected to each other. I mean, you watching this video right now can connect with me by leaving a comment, and we can have a conversation without ever actually having to meet in person. So if social connecting is really easy to do in real life, why is there any appeal to it in games? Besides it being a great way to showcase story within games, it does something else that I love within games, which is world building. It paves the way for players to experience something that is unlike their everyday life, and I think a big percentage of the appeal for social mechanics is the fact that in real life there is social expectation and pressure. But in games, NPCs don't care if you want to be a hermit, they don't care if you want to speed run their dialogue, and if you decide to spend all day decorating or fishing, they might miss you, but they're not going to judge the fact that they haven't seen you in 3 days. Maybe socializing isn't the most boring part of an everyday life, but it can be one of the most stressful parts. And cozy games do a really good job of making social mechanics be conducted in a way that relieves a lot of the stress and expectation that we experience in real life. Even if I personally crave a little bit of that reality to be in the NPC interactions, because I like the life that it would give to the NPCs, being able to relieve that stress is a really good thing that cozy games do. And the mechanics for everyday tasks and socializing come together to form one more vital thread to the fabric of a cozy game. One facet of everyday life is actually something you might do once or twice a week. Maybe you need to stop at the store after work, pick up a prescription, deposit a check. Maybe not always a boring and stressful thing, but definitely not an exciting adventure. And why do cozy games take this mundane event and incorporate it into a core game mechanic? Running errands is the way that cozy games implement a quest system. You could argue that every game does that, but cozy games lean into it. The thing that cozy games do with this particular task is they remove the main barrier that makes running errands tedious, and that is time constraints. Neighbors will ask you for help. Sometimes the higher powers will ask you for help. But at the end of the day, everything is down to your will and whim. And the quests within cozy games are rarely time sensitive. Your neighbor needed sugar 3 years ago, but you just remembered that quest and gave it to them today? That's okay. And this happens because cozy games focus on rewarding the player for completing tasks and missions, and not so much on long-term consequences or things that can't be undone. But how do these three things come together to make the thing that I see as being the heart of what cozy games are? And really, it comes down to the one thing that cozy games do better than any other game on the market. And it's something that we kind of lose the ability to do as we get older. Or maybe it's not that we lose the ability, but we're told that we shouldn't spend time doing it. When we are young, we often see adventure within the mundane things. Be it looking out the car window and imagining what it would be like to live in the wilderness as you're driving home from the store, or playing with dolls and action figures and making up stories about where they came from or why they have that haircut that you accidentally gave them. Cozy games are intentionally designed to be soothing and unintrusive. They take the mundane, the boring, the stressful, and they turn it into the canvas for daydreaming and playing. At least for me, they gave me a way to see my everyday life as something that still has threads of wonder and whimsy. So cozy games might be boring, but I think that that's all a part of their charm. But what are your thoughts? Do you enjoy how cozy games take everyday things and turn them into something magical? And hey, if you want a video on the mundane and magical, I have got the perfect video for you to check out right here. And with that, save your games, water your plants, and I will see you next time.